Hello and welcome to Veterans Medals Workshop. I'm Frank Foster, your host, an old soldier and the author of a number of books on military awards. And today we're going to talk about the Medal of Honor for the U.S. Army. And I think you'll find it very interesting because you would think that we were going to start at the Civil War from when the medal was first initiated, but I think I may have to take you back a few millenniums to explain all the symbolism and history that goes on to the Medal of Honor for the United States Army. In the United States, the government is based on a totally democratic society. Therefore, it really is fitting that the first medal to reward valor on the battlefield was for private soldiers, seamen, and Marines, although later extended to officers. The medal is actually a statistical oddity providing the unlikely equation that 3 equals 1, although there are 3 separate medals representing America's highest reward for bravery, that is, the Army Medal of Honor, the Naval Forces Medal of Honor, which is for the United States Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard, which comes underneath the Navy during wartime, and the newest of the Medals of Honor, the Air Force Medal of Honor, which is probably the rarest medal to be presented. Medal of Honor, which is our country's highest military award for bravery, was conceived in the early 1860s at the beginning of the Civil War. The Navy first proposed the Medal of Valor, and it was approved by President Lincoln, and shortly thereafter, the Army requested a Medal of Honor, and that was also approved by President Lincoln for award to soldiers and non-commissioned officers. The first Army Medal of Honor was awarded between July 1862 and May of 1896, and it had the same 5-pointed star and flag ribbon as the Navy. The difference was in the matter of how it was suspended from the ribbon. While the Navy was suspended by a fouled anchor, the Army was suspended from an American eagle with outstretched wings with a stack of 8 cannonballs and a saber in front of crossed cannons. The cannon, shot, and saber represented the artillery and the cavalry, while the eagle, the national symbol. The top of the ribbon was held by a shield derived from the Great Seal of the United States, flanked by 2 cornucopias, symbolizing America as a land of plenty. The reverse of the medal was engraved with the words, "The Congress to," but otherwise blank to permit engraving. The 5-pointed star hanging from the eagle with outstretched wings is absolutely extraordinary with its symbolism that goes back for millenniums. Each one of the star points is filled with oak leaves and laurel leaves representing bravery. The center figure is a Roman goddess of war, Minerva, and on top of her head or helmet is an owl perched to represent wisdom. In the Roman tradition, her left hand holds rods and an axe blade, symbols of authority. In her right hand is a shield of the Union of States. A man clutching snakes in his hands, representing discord, recoils from Minerva. The entire display is surrounded by 34 stars, representing the 34 states in the Union, to include the 11 states that had departed for the Confederacy. The whole idea of the Civil War, of course, was to reunite the country. How did a Philadelphia jeweler come up with such a masterful design to submit to the mint? Well, I think you have to go back to the Revolution to begin to understand where all of these symbols came from. While stationed in France during the American Revolutionary War, Benjamin Franklin was sent a detailed after-action report of the Yorktown victory and asked to establish a monument in its honor. Instead, Franklin proposed a medal depicting the United States as an infant strangling the 2 snakes representing the Battle of Saratoga and the Siege of Yorktown. Above him, France, personified as Athena, the goddess of warfare and strength, later synthesized by the Romans to their goddess Minerva, holding the same attributes, would act as his nurse and mentor. The design on the medal's reverse was developed by the finest royal engravers in France. who made sure that France would be seen as a protector of the infant by fighting the British lion who is pouncing at the child. Minerva's shield is decked with the lilies of France. The final Latin inscription reads, "The courageous child was aided by the gods," and dated October 1777 to 1781. The front of the medal shows the head of Liberty with flowing hair as she's running to announce America's victory to the entire world. Records indicate that 300 medals were struck in gold, silver, and bronze, many of which were personally presented by Franklin to celebrate the new republic. Actually, the first 2 gold medals were presented by Franklin to the King and Queen of France. This was indeed the most famous of the Revolutionary War medals, and when time came to design the Medal of Honor in 1861, it's clear where the designers went for inspiration. Minerva, holding a shield, banishes Discord, the South, who holds 2 snakes, supposedly the first Battle of Bull Run and Hampton Roads. Even today, the Army Medal of Honor features the head of Minerva, goddess of war and strength. So, of course, you have to ask yourself, where did the French royal engravers come up with the inspiration for the design of Minerva defending America in 1781? Well, you have to go back a little further, for example, and see the medallion on the left, which says Athena, who later synthesized to Minerva, holding victory, Nike, in 281 BC. If you look closely, the helmet worn by Athena is almost identical to the one used by Minerva. So you can see across the thousands of years that Minerva has represented strength and victory, and from that came the inspiration for the design of the center of the American Medal of Honor. As you can see, the Grand Army of the Republic Reunion Medal was almost identical to the Medal of Honor. The National Eagle with spread wings across cannons and cannonballs, the American flag, the 5-pointed star, only the center was a bit different. So it put a real dilemma to what they were going to do with the Medal of Honor. To protect the sanctity of the Medal of Honor, Congress authorized a new ribbon for the Army Medal of Honor in 1896 to clearly distinguish it from Veterans Association badges. The basic color of the original ribbon was not changed, but simply altered. It was really a change that left nobody very happy, and there were a number of people criticizing the design. Unfortunately, the Army Medal of Honor had continued to be widely copied and its design criticized, so the 1904 redesign was approved and is actually granted a patent number. So in addition to the new planchet, the redesigned award was suspended from, as I mentioned earlier, the now familiar light blue, or a ribbon symbolic of loyalty and vigilance, containing 13 embroidered white stars representing, as I've spoke before, the original 13 states. The new Medal of Honor is a design that is still used to the present day. Now, of course, you're going to ask, who designed the new Medal of Honor? Well, if you've been paying attention earlier, surprise of surprise, we went back to Paris, and the French firm in Paris took the original design of the Medal of Honor and created the new one. The new Medal of Honor is a 5-pointed gold finished star, point down, with each point ending in a trefoil. Every point of the star has a green enamel oak leaf in the center and a green enamel laurel wreath surrounding the center of the star, passing just below the trefoils. In the center of the star is a profile of the goddess Minerva, encircled by the inscription, United States of America, with a small shield at the bottom, which represents the shield of the United States. The star is suspended by links from a bar inscribed Valor, topped by a spread-winged eagle grasping laurel leaves in its right talon and arrows in its left. The star represents each state in the United States. The oak leaf represents strength, and the laurel leaf represents achievement. The head of Minerva represents wisdom, with the shield of the Great Seal of the United States representing lawful authority. The laurel leaves clasp in the right claw of the Federal Eagle offer peace, while the arrows represent military might if the country's offer of peace is rejected. The back of the bar holding the star is engraved, the Congress too. The rest of the medal is smooth to permit engraving of a recipient's name. Over to the right of the medal, you can see the eagle adopted by the United States around 1812 as a national symbol. So you can see there's a lot of continuity and history going in for the redesign of the medal. There's the national eagle, there's the offer of peace in the right talon, there's the offer of strength and military might with the arrows. There is a word that clearly says the medal is awarded for valor, and Minerva, the goddess of military wisdom and strength and victory, is shown in the center, surrounded by the ancient symbol of laurel wreath. And it's still a good resemblance to the original medal. The medal today comes in a regulation ribbon with 5 stars showing as depicted above, a lapel rosette. Comes very beautifully boxed with the ribbon, the rosette, and the medal with the neck pad as shown here. This close-up, I think, validates that it is one of the most beautifully designed medals in the world and filled with symbology that goes back for millenniums. The medal is so prestigious that it is almost always personally presented by the President of the United States to the recipient at an elaborate White House ceremony. The back is engraved for Congress too, with the recipient's name and usually some short description of the location and time of the deed. The Medal of Honor comes with a certificate personally signed by the President of the United States. And the certificate is accompanied by a citation which describes in detail the events which led to the award of the Medal of Honor. In the event that it is a posthumous award, a special presentation medal in a box is presented to the next of kin. Over the years, different manufacturers have held the certificate from the Institute of Heraldry to manufacture the medal. And this gives you an example of 2 different manufacturers, and you can see that while the medal stays generally, almost specifically the same, there are variations over the years. The one on the left is a more modern medal, the one on the right is a World War II version. Over the years, there's also been some slight variation in the neck ribbon. This World War II version, you can see, has a circular pad with the 13 stars in the center. Well, I think you've got a pretty good feel for the symbolism and how far back in history it goes, starting with the goddess Athena back in 297 to 281 BC, perhaps even earlier, up through Minerva, the Roman goddess of wisdom and strength and warfare. And you can see the design. Now, you caught me out. I'm showing a variation of the Navy Medal of Honor there. Just had a really good image. And then the current image of the Medal of Honor showing the goddess Minerva in the center and all of the historical symbolic symbols of strength, virtue, and heroism. I think it is a tribute to the recipients of the Medals of Honor that the symbols of bravery, wisdom, duty, and honor that are on their medal have been carried forward over the last 2 to 3 millenniums. Thank you for watching today. We appreciate your support. If you would like more information on any of the United States military decorations, service medals, or badges, you may find it in these books as shown on the page from Medals of America Press. And if you enjoyed the video, we appreciate your support as a subscriber. Special thanks to the National Infantry Museum at Fort Benning, Georgia. Its Medal of Honor room is an incredible tribute to the American fighting man.